the weekly podcast where people reach their goals and develop confidence one mind shift habit at a time. Let's join our host, certified coach Christina.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Coach. I am your host, certified mindset and confidence coach, Christina Callaway. I help athletes, parents, and coaches develop the confidence they need to achieve their goals both on and off the field of play. Thank you for joining me. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of working with some amazing and talented athletes. On this episode, I am joined by three of them. Gymnastics is what brought us all together, but we built a relationship beyond that sport we all love. I'm excited to have them join me to share their experiences and to hear where they are all headed. So please join me in welcoming my guests, Journey Gurley, Nicole Jackson, and Harmony Webster. Hey ladies.
Hi.
How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that y'all are here. It's the weather's not so great today, but it's okay. We're going to still make this happen. So as I shared with the audience, we all love the sport of gymnastics. That's what got us into it. And one of you I directly coached, and the other two came to me via my mindset and confidence coaching business. And we're just going to sit here and have a conversation and share where you all are right now and talk a little bit about your past, what helped you to get to where you are now. And so since I didn't introduce you all, I'm going to let you individually introduce yourselves and just share with the audience what it is that you would like them to know about you. How about if we start with Journey?
Hi, I'm Journey. I started gymnastics competitions when I was 7, and I did them all the way through high school. I also did track and field starting in 8th grade, so I did both through high school, and I went to North Georgia after high school to do track and field, and now I'm transferring to Virginia Tech.
So Journey's being real modest in terms of sharing a little bit about her story. All of that is true, but what she failed to share with you all is that while she was a junior and senior in high school, I believe it was, you were dual enrolled in college, and isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so by the time you got to college, where were you? What were you considered?
Credit-wise, I think I was a junior, so I did 1 year my freshman year, and then I had 2 years in a program, a dual degree, and I just graduated with that degree last spring.
And so that means you completed college in how many years?
3 years.
In 3 years. And this is all while she was still, as she said, participating in not just one sport. She participated in 2, and she got a scholarship through her track and field, even though gymnastics programs were interested in her. We'll get a little bit more into her story. The next person that I want to share their story is Nicole Jackson.
Hi, I'm Nicole Jackson. I did gymnastics since I was 1. I started competitive gymnastics when I was around 7. And I've done it all throughout high school, and I recently graduated from Peachtree Ridge, and I did competitive cheer my sophomore and junior year, and I'll be going to the University of Oregon for acrobatics and tumbling.
And so Nicole's also being modest. I'm not sure why y'all are doing that. But what she didn't share with you was that her gymnastics journey wasn't as easy as most. She got plagued with an injury, and in gymnastics, when you get to be a certain level, you can be a specialist. You don't have to do all 4 events, and that's at the optional level. And that's a good thing for someone that was in Nicole's situation, because her injury involved her shoulders, and it wouldn't allow her to compete on bars with the injury. However, Nicole, share with them how many times you were a specialist at regionals and at the state competition on the state level.
So I was a specialist for 3 years, and I made it to state and regionals each year.
And that's very hard to do because the standards are higher when you are a specialist. You don't get the same scoring as someone else. They put a little bit harder requirements on specialists, and she was able to still do that. We're going to talk more about that with her too. And my next guest is Harmony Webster. And Harmony, introduce yourself.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Harmony. I think I've been doing gymnastics since I was 4, and I started competitive gymnastics when I was 5. I recently graduated high school, and I'm committed to the Rutgers University for gymnastics. I think that's pretty much it.
And so just like Nicole, Harmony and I came together when she was working through just trying to get a little bit more mentally focused. She was dealing with an injury and just was losing her confidence on beam. And in fact, that's how Nicole got to me too. It was the old dreaded beam. And a lot of people don't understand or can't appreciate the fact that one event is extremely difficult. It is 4 feet off of the ground and 4 inches wide. Yet you still see these gymnasts tumbling on it as if they were on the floor. And like all of us, we've experienced that dreaded straddling of the beam, just completely missing it altogether. Some of us are a little bit more dramatic with their falls than others. I remember at a competition, Journey was falling, and it was huge. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I hope she's okay. And she gets up and she looks back at us and just busts out laughing. And she actually has a recording of it. She posted it sometimes through her Instagram stories. And I remember watching it a little while back, and I thought, Lord have mercy. I don't even know how she got up and finished that routine. But we as gymnasts know what? The show must go on, right? Exactly. So I want you all we're going to get started, and I want you all to go a little bit deeper into just talking about just sharing with the audience. USA Gymnastics has this slogan that says, begin here, go anywhere. And the thought behind that is gymnasts, through their training, their dedication, and the mindset that they develop, they are able to go into other sports or the dual thing with sports. And for those of you here on the panel who actually did that, I want you to share with the audience how your gymnastics helped you to transition into the sport that you are now going to be doing, since it is different from the sport that you did for so many years. And that actually applies to Journey and also Nicole. So it doesn't matter, whichever one of you wants to go first.
Okay, I'll go. So, what gymnastics has taught me is a bunch of characteristics that I can use towards my future, like when it comes to the job place, college, or anything. And I've learned a lot about persistence, consistency, and just knowing how to be team oriented. So that will definitely go into going to the University of Oregon when it's going to be more of a team atmosphere rather than an individual type of sport that typically comes with gymnastics sometimes.
Absolutely. And you actually got a scholarship to the University of Oregon, and it is in acrobat and tumbling. And that's a relatively new sport that's gaining a lot of traction. Talk about what attracted you to that route to go acrobat and tumbling.
Okay, so with acrobatics and tumbling, it's kind of like a new opportunity for me because I did say previously that I was on the cheerleading team, And I wasn't close to the idea of not of doing acrobatics and tumbling rather than gymnastics in the future. And so when I went on my visit in Oregon, I just loved the team atmosphere when they were practicing. I loved the opportunities to be in different events whereas with gymnastics you only have 4 events, and if you're not up to par with the team, you can't really compete. But here in acrobatics and tumbling, you can have many positions that you could be good at within each competition event.
Absolutely. So you've been able to bridge your gymnastics and cheer to help you with this sport, and that's excellent. Journey, how about you? Share how gymnastics has helped you or helped you while you were in high school as well as college. Um, how did it help you with the track and field? And share with the audience the actual event that you do in track and field.
I do pole vault in track and field, and I think that gymnastics requires a lot of dedication, a lot of time putting into strength and flexibility, technique, everything. And I think that has been something I've been able to transfer to pole vault because it is a very technical sport, and you do have to have a lot of strength and flexibility. And it also has taught me I do pole vault, it's my main event, but at North Georgia I actually did high jump, long jump, triple, like lots of different things for conference to help my team out. And in gymnastics, you have 4 events, and maybe one event doesn't go exactly how you want it to, but you have to go back and say, okay, that didn't go well, but I have to go to my next event. In track, that's helped me a lot because sometimes one event doesn't go well, but you still got another one to come. So that's
Excellent.
helpful.
That is right. And Journey was also an NCAA champion. And talk about that experience. Was that your first time going to the NCAAs?
Yeah, so my very first year in college was COVID year, so I didn't get to compete very much. But my freshman year, my first year competing, I made it to nationals and was not something I was expecting to do. I got there, actually ended up winning, which was very, very shocking. And so that was insane.
That is really good. And it also shows that the common thing that both you and Nicole just shared was about the dedication, the practicing, and what skills that builds for you. Now, Nicole, I'm sorry, Harmony, you aren't changing your sport. You are staying as an artistic gymnast at Rutgers University. What I would like to hear you share with the audience is how starting out in gymnastics and has transitioned. How has it helped you through your academics, through making the selection to what school? Just share how that journey has been for you.
It's been a very interesting journey, to say the least. I'd say gymnastics has helped me have discipline, to be, it's taught me perseverance. It's taught me, I think one of the main things it's taught me is that anything can happen, anything is possible, and other people's journeys have nothing to do with yours. You could, just very much anything is possible, basically. If you persevere and keep working, you can achieve your goals. So that's definitely helped me with school, with the selection process, just having that mindset throughout recruiting. I thought it was very important because, when you see all your teammates getting signed to places maybe faster than you are, other people getting anything in life maybe quicker than you are, it's hard to keep that mindset and stay focused. Like, oh, it's just not my time yet. But I think really staying focused on your journey and just making sure you keep working towards your goals. That's something that gymnastics has really taught me.
Now, you share a unique thing in that your dad went on to, after his college career in football, he went on to become a professional football player. And sometimes that pressure to perform is present. How has it helped you that your dad really understands the direction that you're going?
It's helped a lot. It's very helpful and convenient to have someone that's gone through, what I was going through. His situation was a little bit different. He pretty much could go wherever he wanted to going into college. He had lots of options. But for me, I was kind of the underdog in the recruiting process. So I kind of had to make my way. Like, coaches pretty much had to take a chance on me. And so it was good to have him to talk to, just to just as someone that's been there before, and just to encourage. And he's actually the one that taught me, like, it doesn't matter, who else is getting signed, like, you just focus on you. So it's very helpful to have him to talk to as a role model and as a person. You just gotta be there.
You all have all experienced that college recruitment. And a couple questions here. The first one is, when did you know that you wanted to compete in a sport in college? And then the other question, how has the recruiting process, or having gone through the recruiting process, what did you learn from it that you would want to share with other athletes who might be watching and getting ready to go through what you all just came through? And anyone can start.
I forgot the first question. I'm sorry.
So you all have, when did you know that you wanted to compete a sport in college?
Okay.
And the recruiting process, now that you are on the other side of it, what is it that you would like to share with athletes who might be getting ready to go through that?
Okay, I'll start. So I knew since I was like little, like 6 maybe, that I wanted to be in college. Like, after going to all of those UGA gymnastics meets and just seeing how they competed, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my turn, And so I knew from then I wanted to be a collegiate athlete. I didn't know what sport it was going to be, but I knew I wanted to be on the big stage, something that I would be interested in. And when it came to the recruitment process, I would say be patient, because you won't always get yes, or like you won't always get the attention that you are hoping for. Like, when you send emails or send videos, and you might get rejected. It comes. You're like, it's okay, but you'll eventually find the place you want to be at. It's for a reason.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
For me, like I said before, I did gymnastics and track in high school, so I just knew that I needed to do something in college. I couldn't just stop doing everything. Actually, out of high school, I didn't get a lot of recruiting letters and stuff. I just kind of fell at North Georgia with a scholarship, and after winning NCAAs, I got the opportunity to transfer to a bigger school. Now I'm going to Virginia Tech. So I think even if it doesn't happen right out of high school, to be patient as well, because you do grow even in college as well.
That's an excellent thing to share with them, Journey, because, as to Nicole's point, it is difficult to have an aspiration, and you're in your mind, you're thinking it's going to go one way, and then all of a sudden it is cricket silent, or you get very few people to actually respond back or get a favorable response, especially if you had your heart set on a particular school that you wanted to go to, and that did not happen. Harmony, would you like to share?
Yes. So I actually didn't know I wanted to be a college athlete right away. That happened very late for me, probably like my second year 10. They're like, so what are you trying to do with this? I was like, oh, I don't know. I was just kind of doing it. They were like, well, just college gymnastics. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that sounds fun. So it came later for me, but the advice I would give people going through recruiting now is that to keep an open mind, I think, was a very big thing for me, because I kind of had my mind set on something. I didn't know a lot about college gymnastics, but I thought SEC was the only way to go. Like, that's all I knew, that's all I saw. And so when it wasn't really looking like that's where I was going to go, it was kind of a turning point for me, because I was like, well, if I'm not staying here, where am I going? So it's just, I think it's very important to keep an open mind, and the school that you thought you'd never go to might be your home in the end.
Excellent point. That was all very good advice from each of you. Since we're talking about the recruiting process, share with the audience when you began it, and if you had it to do it all over again, would you have started sooner, or anything that you would have done differently in terms of putting yourself, what is like the thing that most people think about, or you thought about the recruiting process that you were like, okay, it is not anything like that. I've got to do that.
I think for me, just meeting with the coaches, going on those visits and actually interacting with the coaches, the team, getting to see the facilities and the campus, you just have to really love where you're going. So if you don't love, even if it's like, oh, this is a great opportunity, but if it's not a match, it's not gonna work.
That is so important, Journey. It definitely has to be a match. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy it. Nicole, how about you? When did you actually start, and what is involved in the recruitment process, or doing athletics on a collegiate level?
Mm-hmm. So I believe I started my junior year because of the rule or something. So we had to start with like creating an Instagram account, creating a YouTube account, and like discovering all the emails like we had to send out. Like we had to be very active with like the skills we were getting. So if we got a new skill or if we were improving on something, we had to share it, or you'll get lost in the pile of emails that coaches already get. So technically you just had to be persistent again, and like consistently send emails, consistently post on your Instagram, so you can eventually get noticed like at some point.
Excellent. Harmony, share what was the biggest thing that you thought it was going to be like, and you learned quickly it is not anything like what I thought.
So I pretty much thought recruiting was the college came to the gym, and if they liked you, then you got a spot. Like, I did not know how it worked. So I think the biggest thing for me was you have to be intentional and you have to be consistent about your communication with them, because they get like 200 emails a day. And so you really have to find a way to stand out and catch their eye, I think, consistently.
Absolutely. And you brought up a really good point that most people may not be aware of, is the fact that the athletes themselves have to contact the coaches, because to Nicole's point, there is a rule that says that the coaches cannot make the initial contact. Once contact is made, then they can communicate, but they can't do it until the athlete's junior year in high school. There is a portal that you all put yourselves into that lets any coach know that you are interested. But even after you put yourself in the portal, they are not allowed to make that first initial contact. And that is so important for parents to know. Let's talk about some do's and don'ts as it relates to creating that social media that you are required to do. What was something that you learned really important first on, that when it comes to creating social media, it can make or break whether or not you are sought after?
So I would say like a do is to keep your social media like clean. Make sure you're like look, so you can represent the school if you are able to go there.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to share their experience what they learned differently about social media as it relates to their athletic career that you didn't know?
Yes, I would say something that my mom said to me early on was that the coaches are looking for ways to get to know you, and social media is one of the main ways that they can do that. So you really want to make sure not just your gymnastics page, but especially your main social media page, especially Instagram. That is how they're going to get to know you. So you want to make sure what you put on there is something that you're going to be okay with potential future college coaches seeing.
Absolutely. Journey, anything different from what the others shared?
I guess just when you start to notice like coaches following you, just being mindful of what you do post and try to post like what you like skills that you want them to see. I remember one time a college coach followed me and I just posted a fail video of me because I thought it was really funny. And I was like, oh, that's great. But just post good videos, I guess.
That is so true. The other thing, if this applies to you, have your parents been impacted, and on their social media, how does that play into yours? Or do you all feel like that the coaches are judging what your parents do and how it affects you? Do you feel like that's a fair comparison?
I
If
don't,
your parents are on social media, they may not be.
yes, I don't know if it's a fair comparison. I was saying my mom is very active on social media. I think some coaches have followed her before, but I don't know that her social media would determine anything in my, as far as I was concerned, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, Journey or Nicole?
My parents are not on social media, so I guess doesn't really impact.
Okay, Nicole?
I don't really think my parents' social media really impacted, I don't know, the college process, because my mom posts pretty good, like nothing. Um, it's more motivational than anything, so it doesn't deter any coaches or anything.
And that's a good point, because the coaches actually do want to know what your family is doing if they're on social media, how they're responding, and especially to those hot button topics of what the current events that are going on. What is their response, if any? And so that gives them a total well-rounded view of you as a person, and not just that single part of being an athlete. And so to that point, anyone that's watching or that may watch this later or share this, just understand, if your child is a student athlete and they have aspirations of doing it on the collegiate level, you as a parent are being looked at, and you are being judged as it relates to a coach wanting that your athlete to be on their team. Whether we think that that's fair or unfair, it is what is going on, and you want to make sure that you govern yourselves accordingly. I want to talk about club team versus collegiate team, because as some of you have already stated, when you got to go on your visit and you saw the team atmosphere on the collegiate side, it is what made you finally determine this is the school that I'm going to go to. What was the one biggest difference that you noticed between club team and collegiate team?
I'd say with gymnastics, there's really, you are on a team, but it is more an individual sport. You're really competing for your own success. I think the only time we really compete as a team at our gym was state. That was very important to us, came together as a team. But that's not normal. Most gyms, everybody is competing for themselves and their own success. But for college, it's completely different. It's all about the team. everybody's working together with the same goal, to get the highest score and to support the school as best they can. So I think they're pretty different in that regard.
Absolutely. Nicole or Journey?
So for collegiate team, based off what I noticed, was that the team aspect is much more prevalent with the University of Oregon acrobatic and tumbling team, and everybody was in synchronous. Like everybody knew what their goal was for the future, and so they all worked together. They all supported each other within that aspect of the team. Right.
That's
Whereas, yeah.
That's really good. Journey, now that you have competed on the collegiate level, what was it the biggest thing that you noticed that was the difference between your club team and the being on the collegiate team?
For my club team, I practiced with a lot of people, my team, but I didn't get to compete with them because we were all on different levels. So I think a big thing when I went to college was getting to practice with them, weights, sprints, everything, and then getting to go to the competitions and cheer each other on. So that was something I really enjoyed going into college.
Absolutely. What is the one thing that you all would share with athletes who are on club teams right now, and they have an aspiration to be on a collegiate team? What is one thing that you would share with them to help them to make that shift in their mind?
I would just say never give up and be adaptable because, as you know, I'm going into a different sport, but it took a long time for me to realize like you can go into a different sport. You don't have to stick with gymnastics if you know there's other opportunities out there. So don't give up on your dream of being collegiate athlete and keep going.
That's excellent advice, Nicole. Harmony or Journey?
I would say always be mindful of how you carry yourself in the gym. Even if you don't have the best day or you're just, things aren't going your way, always be mindful and carry yourself in a way that is going to look good to you. Because especially if colleges are coming to the gym and, watching you and recruiting you that way, always carry yourself, keep your head held high and don't give up.
Excellent. That's excellent advice. Anything you want to add, Journey?
I guess in college it's almost like a job almost, so you have to really love what you're doing to do it in college.
Exactly. One of the things that I often hear from parents, I read about it in this different Facebook groups. Parents have a big concern with their athlete being at a specific gym or leaving the gym and going to another gym to get their needs met. And I know a couple of you have experienced that. And what is it that now that you have finished with club gymnastics, what is the one thing that you would want to share with those parents who are concerned about whether or not their athlete is getting the attention that they need or if it's no longer a fit? That would be Nicole or Harmony.
I would say don't be afraid to make a change. It might be, what you felt like was home. It might be what was comfortable for you. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is best for you and your future career. So if a change in gyms is what you think is necessary, then you should go ahead and do that. And if you see like a problem in your gym, you just feel like it's not the right fit, then you're probably right. And you should go ahead and make the switch.
Okay, Nicole.
Yeah, I would say go with your gut and also talk with other people, like talk with your parents, communicate with other people outside of the gym that like you can tell them your perspective and what you see, because they can also give you good insight on what they notice about you, or like they can tell you about changes they notice. And also, yeah, going with your gut. You know, you might have been with your like best friends at your old gym, but you still have to understand that um, there are positive changes that do come from changing gyms, when even if you really truly didn't want to. So yeah, go with your gut.
Definitely go with your gut. It can be hard for the parents, it can be hard for the athlete. However, echoing what you both said, go with your gut. If it doesn't feel right, or if you've spoken and you've tried to get something resolved and it didn't, it's not something that you rush to do, but however, you do think about it and you make the decision that is best for everyone involved. You all have experienced the fact that gymnastics is an all-consuming sport. It's not just about the athlete, it's also about your family members and everyone involved. And so to that point, what is it that you would like to share with the audience as it relates to the being that dedicated to one particular sport?
But well, I did do another sport, but I only did it my sophomore and junior year, just to get my mind open to new opportunities. But gymnastics has been my main sport for the past 18 years, and it truly is a dedicate. Like, you truly need dedication to keep going with the sport, because right now it felt like a job these past few years, and you felt like you were just going to school and then going to practice and then going to sleep. Like, it was a consistent pattern. And so it um I'm sorry, where was I going with this? It's
You said it, the dedication, you said it felt like a job and a responsibility.
yes, yeah, definitely.
So there's a lot of people making sacrifices while you're going through your sports. Was there ever a time when you were competing that you ever thought, I want to, the word that gets used a lot, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. And if that was the case, what would you share with an athlete who's listening, who might be right there too, that helped you to get back on track mentally to want to continue?
Yes, had that thought several times. But I think this is hard. Gymnastics is hard. You have to be all in, and sometimes it just gets to you mentally. It's a very mental sport. So I think what's always gotten me back on track has just been imagining, like, if I did quit, like, what is that? That's just going to school and doing what? So I don't know. I think for me, just imagining life without gymnastics and realizing that that's just not something that I wanted to do just helped me. And a lot of times when I said that, I was just tired. So, sometimes it was just me needing to take a day off and just really get my mind the rest that it needed was really helpful for me too.
That's very good. Journey or Nicole?
I think with gymnastics in school, and I did track as well, it was very overwhelming to do everything. So sometimes you'd pull up to practice and be like, I really just don't want to do this today. So I think it's important to take time away from those things and just like rest and hang out with your friends and just do things that reset your mind so you can get back to everything.
Very good. Nicole?
I would also think about like the end of the rainbow where there's like gold or something. Like, it takes a long time to get where you want to be, and gymnastics is a hard sport, I would say. And I feel like all of the work you put in eventually goes into the gold where you're about to go to college, you're going to do something you really want to do in the future. So, yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things that actually brought two of you to me was the experience of fear. And I want you to think about that when it first hit you, like you were going through your gymnastics, you could do things without giving thought to it. Then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, I can get hurt, or I have gotten hurt doing these skills. And talk about how important mindset and confidence coaching is and what that does to help you to reset and get back on track.
So with
You got
okay. So with mindset and confidence, you technically don't need to have you don't have to work on gymnastics to gain confidence and a mindset. So a lot of the times we would just talk when I remember, we would just talk about like how I can gain confidence outside of the gym, and technically you can bring that into the gym once you've developed the skills you need to bring in that confidence. So it really helps to work on your mindset and to be more positive about your outlook on the sport you're doing or anything.
Excellent. Harmony?
Mindset is so important, especially the event that I came to you for, Beam. I just, I was good at Beam, but I didn't believe that. I was just like, this is just terrible. I was just like, I don't know if I can do this, Miss Christina. And she's like, no, you can do it. So, it was really just me resetting my mind and learning that I was good at Beam and I could be good at Beam. It was also the trust for me, because when I learned to trust in my skills and be like, you know what, I got this. This is muscle memory. I do this all the time. It really helped me get that confidence. So I would say just trusting in yourself and believing in yourself, reassuring yourself that you can do it.
Absolutely. Journey, you and I have a different relationship. I was actually your coach. And I know that I talked a lot about and focused a lot on mindset with you. What is the one thing that you remember about that when you got to the skills that you were just afraid of?
One thing I remember specifically was we did like mental training before every practice, and just strategies to help you when you're on that beam and you're like, okay, I can't do this. Just deep breath, go through, okay, think about this, this, and this to get to this. So that was really helpful.
Excellent. Because pole vaulting, I don't know much about it, but watching it and watching the athletes go up, and literally they are inverted before they come over, and that is terrifying to me. But when I'm watching you all do it, it seems like you are having so much fun flying in the air. Am I wrong in terms of it's scary?
It is definitely scary, especially when you try to get on bigger poles and you're like, I might get shot backwards instead of going forwards. But going over and falling onto the mat, that's my favorite part.
Absolutely. So this brings us to the end of this episode, and I want to share with the audience the call to action. These ladies are phenomenal in their sport, and I want you to continue to follow them and to support them. And just reach out. If you're an athlete, you have questions you want to ask them, you can locate them on Instagram. And don't worry if you don't have a pencil or pen to write, I'm going to put this in the show notes. But if you're a parent and you have questions that you might want to ask them or direct to their parents, reach out to them, because it always is helpful before you go through something to talk with someone who's at least a step or two ahead of you. And it gives you that confidence and reassurance that you are doing things the right way. Now, ladies, I have this segment that I do all my guests on, and it's called Final Thoughts. And what I want you to think about is, what is the one mindset shift that you would like to share with the audience as it relates to your journey from the beginning to where you are presently? And who wants to go first?
I'll go. So, one mindset shift that's really impacted me throughout my gymnastics career is definitely confidence. It's really helped me shine within the classroom, within gymnastics, within my floor routines, and within like interviews for jobs and stuff. And it's really helped me be able to express who I really am without having to feel shy or hold myself back from opportunities.
Excellent. Journey or Harmony?
Yes, I would say confidence and perseverance is the biggest one for me. There have been so many times where, I've just really had to keep working for something and not give up. And that's really helped me, not just in gymnastics, but in life too. It's taught me to, determination and really just not give up. So I would say, staying focused on your end goals and keep working.
Great. Journey?
I think the perseverance aspect of gymnastics has really helped me because, like I said, I didn't get a lot of offers necessarily right out of high school, so that was kind of concerning. And then going into, forgot where I was going with that.
Going into college because you
Yep.
didn't get a lot of offers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so going into college, I was like, oh, this is North Georgia, it's just kind of a small school, we'll just continue it here. But I stuck it out for a couple years and entered the transfer portal and actually got, more opportunities. So I'm very grateful for those. So just being perseverant throughout.
Excellent. Ladies, thank y'all so much for joining me. I am getting ready to say goodbye to my audience, and then I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
And there you have it. I had wanted to have these athletes on for quite some time just to hear from their perspective. Being a former athlete, I know what it is that they have gone through, and as a coach, I see where it is that they are going. And if you are a parent or an athlete watching this and you want to find out more about working with a mindset coach, you know where to find me on all of my social media because you are already doing that. And I thank you so much for it. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I am getting ready to start a TikTok account. Y'all have to help me with that. But it's all at Christina Mindset Coach. And if you want to schedule a free clarity call, just so that you can ask me some questions about mindset coaching, you can reach me that way on my website. And I'm looking forward to talking with you. Thank you all for joining me on this episode. And remember, life is only as good as your mindset. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Coach. Please be sure to follow Coach Christina on all of her social media platforms. And remember, life is only as good as your mindset.